Welcome back, Pikmin. Cavern of Chaos, sublevel 4. We have reached not the bottom of the cavern, but we're certainly getting near the bottom of the cavern at this point. I do not like these meatballs, for they are explosive. So I shall detonate them, or at least some of them, with my boss character. However, I see there's eyeballs sticking up, which means there's a Grandpa Bulb over here who needs to eat these bombs and be angry. Yeah, eat it. Yeah, eat the bombs, you dumbass. Alright, quick. I gotta punch him with my fist. Oh, that's not gonna work? Shit, I should have grabbed blue Pikmin. Who would have thunk it? Please give me more blue Pikmin so that I may so I may turn this boss into mush. Blue Pikmin, yes, let's go. Got a job to do that includes but is not limited to killing this guy. Please eat this thing. Please, my Pikmin, do not get lit on fire. It should not be too hard with him eating the bombs like this. Oh yeah, this is gonna be easy. He's gonna be dead here in a second. If I had him eat the other bombs, I could probably do this without using any Pikmin, which is kind of weird. Okay, but that's what we will do. Meantime, I'm gonna grab some red Pikmin. We're gonna take out all the little fire things. There is an item somewhere on here, but he has not dropped it yet. It means it must be in a different Bulborb. Your princess is in another Bulborb. You ever run into something that you absolutely adore, and then the creator decides he's not going to do it anymore, or she's not going to do it anymore? Look, I'm going to be very honest with you when I say this. I understand certain things appeal to certain people at certain times, and things that seem like a good idea at first are not necessarily a super great idea. You know, when you've been doing it for a year or two, maybe you get bored with it, maybe it's not profitable, what have you, but I loved, Hot Diggity Demon did a series of movie reviews / sort of insights into his own life, which, I don't know. I liked his movie reviews, particularly the two that revolved around actual television shows instead of movies. The Powerpuff Girls one is absolutely great, and his rebuke of cancel culture in regards to The Simpsons and Apu, top notch. And maybe it's because I'm an ugly, yucky, disgusting white person who doesn't really want to see characters removed just because we suddenly decide we don't like them anymore. His big argument with getting rid of Apu is he's just a stereotype. But that's what every character in The Simpsons more or less is. It is some variation of a stereotype. I'm not gonna get too into it because he does a far better job explaining his pros and cons. Well, his reasons why you keep Apu in the show as is. But they've never, maybe I'm mistaken, but they've never really done a very bad job with Apu. And that's one of his points that he makes is that, excuse me, is they've always treated each character, whether it be, for the most part, I mean, yeah, they rely on stereotypes and what have you. But they do also try to treat all of their characters with at least some dignity. So, for instance, Homer Simpson's a middle-class or blue-collar slob who's an idiot, who somehow things work out for the best a lot of times when they really ought not to. And his wife loves him for sometimes unknown reasons, considering the kind of shenanigans that Homer gets into. I don't know. I don't do a very good job of explaining my point, but I'm very much... 2 points he brings up in both this and the Powerpuff Girls is, first of all, voice actors are those characters. You know what I mean? You could certainly recast Batman, because Batman's been... You know, we've been doing Batman for 50 years or more, so you're going to have different interpretations of the Batman. You're going to have different interpretations of Superman, etc. But when it comes to a television show where you make a television show called the Powerpuff Girls, and then you decide that you're going to reboot it for a new audience 15 or 20 years after it goes in cancellation, and you're going to bring none of the original voice actors, none of the main character female voice actors back, but you're going to bring Professor Utonium's voice actor back. You're going to bring, you know, all of the other side characters' voice actors back. I don't know. I have questions about that. But in terms of Apu, you know, they talk about, well, what is okay? Is it okay for a black man to voice a... This is an example outside The Simpsons. Is it okay for a black man to do a voiceover for a ninja or shinobi? And we're not talking about anime here right now. We're talking about the fact that the character Shredder from my childhood Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was voiced by the same actor, same person that did Uncle Phil in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay. Is that okay for Shredder to be voiced by a non-Japanese person? Is it okay for Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, who's sort of like we'll say a Australian transplant into that universe, to be voiced by a person of Mexican heritage? Is it okay for other people of other the other one he does, which really absolutely amazing? Is it okay for why did I forget his name suddenly? I forgot his name. Okay, well, great. I will think of it later. Charles Martinet, there it is. To do Mario's voice. He's French. He's not Italian. Is it okay for him to do Mario's voice, despite the fact that he's been doing it forever? Like pre-N64 forever? Okay. And again, that's one of the criticisms, is you have Apu being voiced by a white guy. He's not a very good representation of Indian culture. And in a way, yeah, he's a bit of a stereotype. You have the Indian running a convenience store. Okay, I get it. Haha. That's great. There's a bunch of Indians that run convenience stores. But the way, yeah, even though he's a stereotype, I very much agree with you know, the way they say, well, I mean, how is Apu portrayed? He's certainly portrayed better than Homer is. He's portrayed better than Chief Wimby is. Because those characters tend to be fat white slobs that somehow bumbled their way into into a really good job that helps take care of their family. But like, you know, Pooh, he does a great job of it, explaining like he's more than just a thick Indian accent and working in a convenience store. He's got all kinds of complexities. But they work, you know, they work with, like with all their characters, whether we're talking about a Pooh or Mo Sizlak or even Comic Book Guy gets episodes where he eventually finds love and gets married. Now, mind you, I haven't kept up on The Simpsons, so if he for some reason got divorced in the last season or two, I'm not aware of that. But just bear with me when I say that. Like, you know, they give all of their characters their episodes. Edna Krabappel and the other teachers at Bart's school are worn out teacher veterans that have just basically given up on education because, you know, basically watching your kids and trying to teach them at the same time is just the most ridiculous thing that we ask teachers to do. We hire teachers. We hold them to these high standards to the point that they cannot do anything that would even remotely raise an eyebrow. Otherwise, we want them out of the school. We don't want them teaching our influential children what's right and wrong, and we want them gone. And we want to control their curriculum, and we control what they teach, and etc. And again, Edna's sort of, you can interpret her in a number of different ways because they do give her characterization. They give her episodes where she's more human. But in a lot of cases, she's this teacher, she's Bart's teacher. She cares about teaching her students in the exact same time. Much like the other teacher that isn't as well represented in that show. She seems to be counting down, you know, either to summer vacation or to retirement. You know, like this year cannot get over fast enough. Level of like, I don't give two shits about you. And I don't know. There are a lot of things about The Simpsons that I'm not really going to get too far into. There are a lot of big sort of cliffhangers, like for instance, there are episodes where Maggie exists, and there are episodes where Maggie doesn't exist. I mean, she exists, but she's like, you kind of ignore that she's around, because she's sort of, they call her the Forgotten Simpson, and she kind of is, because she doesn't speak. Her only characterization is the very limited amount of characterization The Simpsons allowed to have her, which in some cases is absolutely hilarious. Maggie's a daddy's girl, and Homer does more than for his other children. He continues to work and in some cases suffer because of Maggie. And Maggie reciprocates that in a lot of cases. She's very protective of her father. Sort of an early on inside, well, I wouldn't say inside joke. An early on joke that they did was that Mr. Burns gets shot by Maggie, which is sort of a big cliffhanger between seasons, is who killed Mr. Burns, which turns out Mr. Burns didn't actually die. But what ended up happening was, you know, because of the way the episode's set up, anyone could be the reason why who shot Mr. Burns, okay? It turns out it's just a silly thing. It's Maggie shoots Mr. Burns because he's trying to take a lollipop off a baby, but he's an old frail man and he can't physically take the lollipop off the baby because she's too strong, which of course is funny. And then in the same breath, she pulls out, I guess, a gun that somehow, I don't really remember. I don't know if Mr. Burns had it on him and she pulled it out of a holster, or she happened to somehow pick up the gun that belonged to Homer. I don't remember the details right now off the top of my head. But sort of to make a long story short, Maggie shoots Mr. Burns, okay? And again, they sort of play it as like, oh yeah, that's the character you'd at least expect to shoot Mr. Burns. You'd never suspect Maggie, so she's the answer. But the fun part is later on, they play with this idea, and like Maggie, at one point, the mob comes to like basically take out Homer, and all of a sudden, all the mobsters start getting shot from some lone gunman in like a perch somewhere, and then they pull back, and it's Maggie, and she's got a fucking, it's a rifle. It's not a long range sniper rifle, but she's essentially shooting people from her bedroom window, and then she stuffs the gun away. But as her father comes back upstairs to talk, basically tuck her in, she sneaks the gun underneath her mattress, which is just so perfect for that character. And I may have said this in an earlier episode. It's so perfect for that character. It's silly. Yes, because Simpsons is a comedy. It's not a drama. It's silly. It's stupid. Why would a baby be able to wield a rifle and accurately shoot it? But it makes sense in terms of the canon of the storyline that Homer loves Maggie to like the way, in a way, as a parent loves a child unconditionally. And he does things because just little things that just, where the kid's cute. What can you say? But there are little things that children do, babies do, that they get that little, whatever you want to call it, little red ribbon. They tie it around your heart, and you're forever tied to them, because they do a bunch of stuff innately that they don't realize they're doing. But you look at those things that they do, and you take the adult perspective on some of these things, and you just are like, this thing, I'll die for this thing. I will die for this person. I will die to make sure this thing lives. This person, this daughter, this son. I will do whatever I can to make them successful. And of course, in the same regard, at least in terms of the canon, at least my interpretation of the canon of The Simpsons, and it occurs in other episodes too. It's not just these two episodes, but Maggie will do whatever it takes to protect her father. I'm not going to say she would gun down her mother by any stretch of the imagination, but Marge has never actually like threatened Homer with a knife or a gun. She had to choose between Homer and Marge. But if someone like there was a later episode, much later, even after the one I'm talking about. Well, they all died. Great. All those Pikmin just fucking ate it. Whatever. Anywho, sort of what I'm trying to get at. There's an episode later on, much later, probably like 10 seasons later. Okay, let me back up just a little bit. In the 300th episode of The Simpsons, towards the end, they do a little nod tip to the audience that it's the 300th episode. So some people will argue that actually these episodes don't count. So it's actually this episode. It's not actually episode 300 because certain episodes aren't canon. Like none of the Halloween episodes are canon. So they technically should count in the episode count even though they do. So there's an episode where towards the end where Maggie's bowling and she bowls 300 and then Homer like deducts like some points off of her because she stepped over the line. It's sort of signifying there's a disagreement of how many episodes of The Simpsons there are, I guess. But like that's a great example. There's an example even farther later than that where Homer's drowning and Maggie has to go out and rescue him, and she does this funny thing where she's sort of standing on the side. She's like, Maggie, rescue me, I'm drowning. And then she just sort of sighs. And she swims out and grabs her father and brings him back into the... It's silly. It's silly. It's The Simpsons. I don't know what to say. And I know we draw a lot of references from The Simpsons, and some people are even looking at The Simpsons as the next Nostradamus, but I don't know. Name, Grow Shroom. Okay. That should be it for this level, so we'll dive deeper into the level with the Pikmins. Hopefully this doesn't take me forever. I know some of these caves are deep. 7, we're not quite deep enough for me to be complaining, but you know, if we hit like 10 plus, then we know we've got quite a deep cave here. As some of the other caves we've done, even the more difficult caves are no more than say 6 to 8 levels deep, you know? Hello, Mr. Blowy guy. I hate you. You take all of my flower Pikmin and you turn them into leaf Pikmin, which makes me angry. It makes me angry because I spent all that time powering them up and you're just going to turn them back in their base form. However, I also do like you because you can't actually kill any of my Pikmin, other than if you happen to blow them into an element like fire or water or electricity that they're bad against. Or they're not immune against is how I should put that. Since most of my Pikmin, red Pikmin, aren't good against electricity or water, but they're good against fire. And, you know, they're good against one thing, essentially. So. We're gonna pick up everything. To bring it back to our horde, there are plenty of things that I need to pick up, but I also want to make sure my Pikmin don't die. So if that means I'm in a water area, I'll ditch my other Pikmin. If I'm in the fire area, maybe I ditch the other Pikmin and just go with the color that works. In this case, I need white and red. I think, well, white for poison, red for fire. Purple because they're fat and they beat everything up. Ugh. That past week has been a pain in my ass. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna turn these guys to flower pick. This past week's been a pain in my ass. My parents went away on a brief vacation, about a week and a half, overseas. So my dad and mom say to me, make sure you come over the house and water my plants and cut the grass. Make sure everything in the house looks normal. Well, every day this week, not counting the day they left because the grass wasn't high enough at that point to cut it, we just cut it the day before on Saturday. He wanted me to cut it Wednesday. Well, it rained on Wednesday. It rained on Tuesday, and Monday, and today. And it's set to rain tomorrow. So we're gonna go a whole fucking week without cutting grass, and it's gonna be fucking ungodly high. But it is what it is. I can't control that, as they say. I just have to live in that reality that in this particular case I may have to bag grass or cut grass when it's kind of wet or mushy. It just is what it is. I cannot control nature. And short of me if I had taken a half day on Monday or Tuesday, I don't think Wednesday would have worked because the rain came too early. If I had taken a half day on, say, Tuesday, I could have gotten the grass cut then. Would the grass been that high after 3 days of growing? It would have been somewhat high. It wouldn't have been high enough for it to really matter, though. But you add, say, 2 to 3 days on top of that, get you just the Friday, which what I'm recording is tomorrow. I am kind of SOL. Or is it SOOL? I don't know. Sometimes when we abbreviate things, we drop phrases like Instead of saying, like, for instance, The Legend of Zelda, you don't put the in. You just call it LOZ, Legend of Zelda. But again, of is also kind of a whatever you want to call it. It's a weird not. It's a what is it? It is a preposition. So, and the is an article. So you leave articles out, but you leave prepositions, I guess, in when you're abbreviating stuff. It's hard to really tell because a lot of abbreviations, particularly on the internet, have become loosey-goosey. As in, we just decided to call this thing by this abbreviation. Also, fuck you, Mr. Red Guy. I'm gonna turn you into Sumi here in a second, and then we'll take out bigger, bluer guy second. Even though I technically probably should have taken blue guy out first. Good, now you're dead. Stay dead. You, now die. I'm gonna put all my shit on you, so you're dead. And then I'm gonna take this battery and we're gonna go back to the thing. I'm gonna grab some white Pikmin and have them kill that thing. Oh, sweet. He actually had like a cookie in it. That's weird. Alright, we'll do this. Grab white Pikmin. Defeat the evil poison area, maybe. And then pick up the cookie, pick up the battery, send it back to my, my ship. And then we'll probably cut the episode after this. That'll be good enough. 3 will take a while for him to defeat the poison here, but it, as you can see, it doesn't take very long either, so. Gonna walk around here. Let's not poison ourselves though, that would be very bad. Hooray! Poison defeated. Oh, there's more poison over there. Great. Make sure. I'm gonna check to see if we run out of treasures to collect on this level, which I'm guessing I'm damn close to being done with the treasures on this level. And if so, I'm just gonna go back to the exit and we're just gonna move to the next level. I appreciate the fact that my white Pikmin do not group up together and that they stay far away from each other. So if I throw 3 Pikmin in a row, instead of throwing 3 white Pikmin, I throw a white Pikmin and then a blue Pikmin and then like a red Pikmin. Alright, I picked up all the treasures on this level. Great. We're going to move on with our lives. Go down to the next level. Cut the episode here. When we come back, we are going to, like I said, continue down this cavern. So until then, have a good day.